Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Developing this morning, an arrest in a deadly shooting at a home in Zebulon. What we're learning about the suspect and the chaotic scene as officers arrived.
It's colder this morning and the clouds have rolled in. We'll talk about the cloud cover during the day and when we'll have our next chance for rain.
A lot that we have been covering overnight here on WRAL News. Thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Chris Lovingood. Once again, grab your ticket for the weather roller coaster. Up and down in the morning there, Elizabeth. First yesterday, not too bad, but then today, another colder start for us.
And that roller coaster continues all the way through the weekend. We are cloudy for the most part this morning, at least 80% of the sky covered with clouds. But once we get closer to lunchtime, we'll see more sunshine, back down to about 50% of the sky covered. So we do have the top of the tower lit this morning in purple for cloudy skies, and it's cooler, 44 degrees. It's all about the wind direction. This time yesterday, our wind was southwest and it warmed us up. Now it is northeast, and so the cooler air is able to come in, and we're looking at temperatures in the 40s heading out the door. 41 in Roxborough, 49 in Southern Pines, 44 in Rocky Mount, mid-40s through the Triangle as well. And that's going to put us at about 5 to 10 degrees colder than yesterday. So, adjust as you will. Our temperatures will be cooler in the afternoon as well, but sunshine and highs in the low 60s. We still have near record highs for part of the weekend, but an increasing chance for rain as well. We'll take a look at all of that coming up.
We get to that story we've been following overnight. A man is dead and a person in custody this morning after a shooting in Zebulon last night. This happened on Terramar Lane near Pippin Road. But we'll bring in Allie Cadlebar right now. She's live at the Zebulon Police Department on this story. Allie, neighbors we spoke with, they kind of described what happened when officers started arriving.
Yes, very traumatic moments for those neighbors. And overnight, we're learning new information from court documents. They say that Andrew Torrey is being charged with murder. We know Zebulon police are still sorting through all of that evidence. They were there for hours, and this video shows that scene. This is from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see multiple first responders lined up outside. That home on Terramar Lane is where police say a person was shot. Overnight, we're learning that Zebulon police got a 911 call just before 6:30 from someone saying they were being attacked. While officers were on their way, the caller said there had been a shooting and that there was serious bleeding, and first responders tried to save that person, but the victim died from the injuries. Now, we spoke with neighbors who witnessed this tragedy unfold.
A lot of law enforcement vehicles came flying down the street at a high rate of speed with their lights flashing. Jumped out. Several of them got out with their rifles, ran into my neighbor's yard. Heard one yell, "Is that the shooter?" Then I heard 4 or 5 consecutive gunshots.
Very scary moments there for those neighbors. We're working to find out what led up to this shooting, and we do know that Zebulon police arrested the suspect on the scene, and overnight those court documents reveal that suspect is Andrew Torrey. We're going to keep you updated. Reporting live in Zebulon, Allie Cadlebar, WRAL News.
This morning, a man is hurt after shots were fired this morning in Raleigh, and this happened on Iliganis Road around 1 a.m. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured that scene. Forensics investigators could be seen marking bullet holes in a parked car, and the front and back windshields, they were shattered. The man who was shot is expected to recover. And there are no reports of injuries at a house fire in North Raleigh. Got to show you this video here from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 11:30 p.m. The fire happened on Old Creedmoor Road near the I-540 interchange, and we're trying to learn more about the cause of that fire. A 16-year-old is due in court today on murder charges in the death of a 14-year-old. And this new charge stems from a crash last month in Holly Springs. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is working that story live at the Holly Springs Police Department. And Kelsey, the department says it took some time before deciding to charge him with murder.
Who is now facing murder charges is scheduled to be in court today. We learned a lot of new information about this case yesterday from Holly Springs Police. 16-year-old Ashton Ralphs is in jail this morning without bond. He's charged in an October crash that killed 14-year-old Max Dunham and left 19-year-old Brandon Russell severely injured. It's taken several weeks for Holly Springs Police to bring these murder charges, and now we know why. Yesterday, the department and explained how the size of the crash scene and the scale of the damage required extra time to investigate. The police chief says an initial breathalyzer test showed Ralph's was twice over the legal limit during the crash, and he was driving double the speed limit.
I think this was a particularly emotional state. It's never easy when we go to a death investigation. It's particularly harder when it involves a young person, in this case, practically a child.
Ralph's is scheduled to appear in court this afternoon at 2:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Holly Springs.
A man in the Triangle who says Border Patrol agents detained him despite being a legal citizen captured his experience on TikTok. And he talked to us about what happened. I want to show you video from 18-year-old Fernando Vasquez. It's been viewed more than 2 million times, and he says he was detained while he was at work. According to Vasquez, the agents took his wallet and put him in the back of a car.
They took me like 2 miles down the street, and another Hispanic man asked me, he was like, "Where are you from?" I told him I'm from here. And then he also asked me, he was like, "But where were you born?" And I told him this is where I was born.
That was Vasquez saying, that's when Vasquez says he was released. And then he says agents tossed his belongings on the ground. We asked immigration authorities if there would be any consequences for agents who detain legal citizens. ICE responded to our request by saying they were not involved in that case. A large crowd gathered in Durham last night to protest Border Patrol activity in the city. Hundreds of people marched just before 9 o'clock last night. No streets were shut down as a result of the protest. And yesterday, there was another protest also in Cary. More than 100 people gathered at the corner of Kildare Farm Road and Southwest Maynard Road. Several protesters held signs, rang cowbells, and waved U.S. flags. Republican Senator Ted Budd issued a new statement about the immigration enforcement happening locally. It says in part, quote, "Federal law enforcement has been tasked with removing criminal offenders who never should have been in the U.S. and they should carry out this mission responsibly to ensure that violent individuals are quickly identified, detained, and deported." We will continue to monitor Border Patrol operations in the Triangle today, so you can look for more updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. The driver in a crash that killed 3 E.E. Smith High School students is charged with involuntary manslaughter. 21-year-old Diamond Monroe also faces charges for racing and reckless driving before the crash. Monroe was driving Trevor Merritt, Jayon Elliott, and Nick Williams to a birthday party when she crashed into a tree, according to investigators. The 3 boys, all teammates on the football team, were killed. Monroe spent weeks in the hospital afterward. Federal judges wrapped up a hearing that seeks to block North Carolina's new congressional map. The judges hearing the gerrymandering lawsuit didn't issue a ruling. Republican state lawmakers said they targeted Democratic U.S. Representative Don Davis for legitimate political purposes, but the NAACP and others sued, claiming racial motivation and First Amendment violations happened. The judges said they expect to issue a ruling very quickly, and candidate filing begins next month. The WRAL NC Capitol team has followed the redistricting case closely since the maps were redrawn, and you can read more about it in the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. In Nash County, a woman is facing dozens of new animal cruelty charges. Nancy Upton is facing 35 counts of animal cruelty and 1 count of felony child abuse. She was arrested yesterday but is out on bond this morning. Now, this happened after deputies seized the 35 animals from her property last week. The animals range from dogs to parakeets, even chinchillas. Upton is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. All DOJ documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case should be released in the next 30 days. Last night, President Donald Trump announced on Truth Social he signed the bill forcing the release of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi now has 30 days to release all unclassified records, and it's still unclear how that will happen.
We have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law.
The Attorney General has the authority to withhold or redact information that could interfere with a federal investigation. Actually, President Trump says he plans to host New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani in the Oval Office tomorrow. It would be their first face-to-face meeting since the election. On social media, the president said Mamdani asked for that meeting, and he agreed. In an interview, Mamdani said he wants to speak to the president about New Yorkers struggling to afford living in the city. Mamdani is scheduled to be sworn in as mayor in January. Today, Andrew Town Council members plan to show disapproval for actions of Mayor Robert Eustace. The resolution accuses the mayor of having a conflict of interest in choosing to upgrade the Andrew Museum's old train depot. The censure resolution claims he did not have the proper approvals to spend grant money on the project, and it also says the mayor owns and operates the contracting company that did the work. His company is also accused of only being licensed for residential work, whereas the museum work is commercial. The censure vote will be held at 8 a.m. Covering Durham today, city leaders will go over plans for downtown through 2035. The Downtown Durham Blueprint will be presented, going over how to improve the cityscape and get more businesses into downtown. You can learn more about the plans at this afternoon's meeting, and that gets started at 1 p.m. Durham school leaders will have their monthly meeting today as well. Durham Public Schools will work on revisiting their cell phone policy there. All school districts in North Carolina must update their policies under a new state law. Today, their focus is on smart glasses, smartwatches, and whether middle schoolers can use devices outside of class time. Tonight's meeting will get started at 6:30. Your time this morning is 4:40. Turkeys for the Triangle. How local realtors are making sure every home has a turkey on the table for the holidays, and how you can help. Let's go ahead and give you a live look at Fenton and Cary. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tells us about the cool front before the warmth happens this weekend.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
And it's 4:44. And look at this, it's 44 in Wilson and Durham. Isn't that funny when it works out that way? It's dry for today, but we're cloudy to start with. It's 49 in Fayetteville. But we will end up seeing a better chance for rain starting on Friday. So now that it's getting a little bit closer to the weekend, we've really been able to kind of fine tune things a little bit more for Friday and Saturday. It definitely looks like we'll be dealing with some rain on and off on Friday and on Saturday. And I'll show you Futurecast so you can see the timeline hour by hour. It is cloudy this morning, but today is not going to be wet. We do have the top of the tower lit in purple for the clouds. We are seeing gray skies this morning as the kids head out to the bus stop, and it's a little cooler than yesterday. Yesterday we were in the 50s, bringing it back down about 10 degrees into the mid 40s. And the afternoon high will be a little bit cooler too, with low 60s. I'll show you why it's cooler today and why it will be warmer as we get into the weekend coming up.
There's a fundraiser for an NC State professor who was killed in a crash. The fiancé of Natalia Duque Wilkins is trying to raise $11,000 in her name. The two were going to be married in January, and she died last week after a truck hit her at the intersection of Pogue and Clark Streets near campus. A 19-year-old was cited for misdemeanor death by motor vehicle. A roof partially collapsed at a mall in Arizona. This happened inside a dentist's office in Phoenix yesterday. Authorities say that staff members and patients inside the clinic were able to evacuate moments before the collapse happened, but there were no injuries. The collapse damaged a water line, and that led to parts of the mall becoming flooded, but no word just yet on what caused that partial collapse. We have new data on tourism in Raleigh. Visit Raleigh says Wake County has seen a $2 million increase in tax revenue in the hospitality industry. The group is looking ahead to the future. In the last quarter, it booked more than 100 future events, and it expects more than $70 million in local impact. This morning, local realtors are working to make sure every home has a turkey on the table for the holidays. It's part of a program called Turkeys for the Triangle. The real estate firm Coldwell Banker, Howard Perry, and Walson has put this on for more than 2 decades. And we spoke to organizers about how the government shutdown has impacted needs this year.
We heard from our partners that the shutdown did increase a little bit of the demand. When the shutdown ended a couple weeks ago, that helped ease some fears temporarily. But those same partners understand that there's new legislation coming down the pike that could eliminate all that aid permanently.
And this year, they plan to feed 60,000 people. Wow. You can learn more about today's event or donate at turkeysforthetriangle.com. Shoppers will have extra time to return holiday gifts this year. Amazon is expanding its return window to make buying online, quote, seamless and worry-free, according to the company. For most items purchased through December 31st, returns will be accepted through the end of January. Products must be unused. There are some exceptions, though. Some items, such as Apple-branded products, can only be returned through January 15th. And this weekend, don't forget, you can join WRAL for the 81st Raleigh Christmas Parade, featuring stunning floats, lively performances, and all the holiday cheer you can expect this time of year. From the heart of downtown Raleigh, it's a celebration you do not want to miss. The WRAL live coverage begins Saturday morning at 9 on TV and wherever you stream WRAL. In fact, if you watch, you'll see me there, and you'll see Elizabeth Gardner. She'll be there to talk a little bit about weather. We should probably talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about it actually coming up right now. We're going to start off with kind of the temperatures today, and we're going to jump right on into our rain forecast for Friday and Saturday. So cloudy this morning, but today stays dry. We warm back up tomorrow, but today will be a little bit cooler with temperatures in the 60s. Then we're going to jump into that chance for rain. So here's what's going on. This front right here actually was north of us yesterday, and so that allowed all the warmth to come up under it. And now the front has moved southward, and now the cooler air is coming in on top of it. So that's why it's cooler today. Near this front, too, we'll have, lift in the atmosphere, enough so that we'll have some cloud cover, but no rain today. So we do have the top of the tower lit in purple for some clouds to start with. We're in the mid-40s right now with a northeast wind at 8 miles per hour. So it feels a little chilly out there, and our highs will be in the low 60s. Right now, temperatures are mostly in the low to mid-40s. It's a little warmer in Fayetteville and Southern Pines in the upper 40s right now. 45 in Apex and 44 in Nightdale, 42 Wake Forest, 45 in Fuquay-Varina. And that's going to put us at about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. So you can sort of gauge how it felt yesterday. It's going to be a little bit cooler today. Low 60s in Raleigh and Durham, and upper 60s in Fayetteville. I mean, not bad. We're looking at clear skies, and we're super excited about this. This is Durham. This is the DBAP where the Durham Bulls play, all lit up in the festive bowl of lights. See what we did there? All right, it's going to be great. A little bit of cloud cover out there, but not much. It's not going to rain. Temperatures are going to be super comfortable. Festive bowl of lights goes all the way into early January, and we hope that you'll make it a holiday tradition. 62 is our normal high. We're close to that today. We're back to seeing pretty much a record high. We're going to tie the record potentially on Saturday at 77, and we're looking at a lot of towns with potential records. Looking at potentially a record in Charlotte, a record in Fayetteville, tying the record over in Wilmington. So it's going to be a really, really warm day for everyone on Saturday. Here's Futurecast for tomorrow during the morning commute. It may be wet out there for us, so we're going to be watching out for that. Not a lot of rain on Friday, but Friday will be cloudy. And once again, around dinner time, if you have plans to be out during the evening, it may be a little wet. And then here comes our front with a better chance for rain on Saturday. Sorry, I meant to pause it right there during the parade. I'll do that again next round. But it does look like we're going to be dealing with rain on Saturday. We're hoping it won't be too heavy during the parade. It looks like we'll have a better chance of heavier rain during the afternoon and maybe a thunderstorm. If you're needing to just get outside, Sunday looks pretty good at 65.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Your time right now is 4:50. Big screen buzz, record-breaking predictions, and major awards momentum. The movies everyone's talking about this weekend. Plus, home-cooked meal. A Hornets rookie and former Duke player took road game to a whole new level. How a simple text turned into 25 pounds of fajitas and a career-high performance. Amazon is further incorporating AI into its Amazon Prime service. Prime Video already has AI-powered text recaps, but now they're rolling out AI-generated video recaps for their shows. The recaps combine voice narration, dialogue, and music to summarize previous seasons on the streaming platform. The beta version of the tool is available now for select original series. Movie news now, beginning with a return trip down the Yellow Brick Road. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
There's a house, and it's flying through the sky. I'm off to see the wizard.
A lot of people are off to see The Wizard this weekend. Box office watchers predict Wicked for Good could debut with $150 million or more. That would soar past the first Wicked film, which opened with $112.5 million this same weekend last year. The follow-up could score the biggest debut of the year. A Minecraft movie opened with $162.8 million back in April.
This isn't the end of the line. Not for you.
Neither is being over 50. One battle after another leads the nominations for this year's Movies for Grown-Ups Awards with AARP. It's up for 8 awards, including Best Movie for Grown-Ups. Also up for the top prize, A House of Dynamite with 3 nominations, Sinners, which also received 3 nods, Train Dreams with 2 nominations, and Hamnet. The Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, honoring the year's best film and TV, celebrating the voices and stories of the 50-plus, takes place January 10th in Beverly Hills and airs on PBS in February. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Charlotte Hornets rookie and former Duke player brought his team their dinner. Con Knippel was excited to play on the road in his hometown against the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's because he could visit his parents for a home-cooked meal. How about that?
So I just texted him, said, Connie, are you going to be able to come for dinner?
Were you thinking, why not? I'll just invite all of my teammates.
Well, we were on the plane, and a couple of my teammates like, Con, where we going on Friday or on Thursday in Milwaukee? I was like, well, I'm going home.
Home cooked dinner. The entire team decided to tag along. Knippel's mom made 25 pounds of chicken fajitas for the Hornets. Despite not winning the game, fueled with some home cooking, Knippel scored a career high 32 points against the Bucks. Wow. All right, your time is 4:56 this morning. A man is in custody after a deadly shooting at a home in Zebulon. What police say they encountered when they arrived at that scene, plus hundreds of arrests. Homeland Security is confirming details on Border Patrol arrest in Charlotte. The calls for transparency from local officials. And rental car damage. Imagine returning a rental car in perfect condition, and then you get hit with a bill for thousands. Hate to see it. 5 on your side helps one North Carolina man fight back.